H is for holding space. Hi, I'm Bec from Be Free Emotional Fitness Training, and I support women and girls to become emotionally stronger.
And I'm Vern from Move Forward Mentoring, and I specialise in male mentoring, helping boys and men find their passion, speak from their heart, and build better relationships.
And together we are rekindling relationships. We work with couples through mentoring sessions as well as facilitating communication and creative workshops to build deeper connections.
Welcome to our podcast, designed to help you strengthen and bring more fun into your partnership, as well as create a more loving, healthy, and strong connection. Hey everyone.
Hey everyone.
So today we're talking about holding space, what it means to hold space, why it's important for a healthy relationship, and how to do it, how to actually hold space with your partner, which is a really difficult thing to do sometimes. So holding space, what is it all about?
So glad you asked. So important yet so undervalued.
Yeah, it really is.
Holding space is being mentally, emotionally, and physically present without judgment.
Ooh, that's a good explanation. Yeah, so you're emotionally present without judgment, which means that you have to listen to whatever the other person says, and rather than getting upset about it or doing anything to stop it from happening, you've got to just sit there and be present with it. Just hear it.
Just listen. It literally means not saying a thing. And that's easier said than done.
That's a lot easier said than done.
And not being triggered.
I think you can be triggered, but it's recognizing that the trigger comes from you. If you're getting challenged by what that other person has to say, it's less about the other person and it's your reaction to what they've said.
Yeah, it's okay to be triggered, but it's not your stage at the moment. It's their stage.
Yes.
And
so you're allowed to be triggered, but you're not allowed to say anything. You can't stop them from expressing it.
This is good old-fashioned, we call it holding space now in this day and age, but it's really good old-fashioned listening.
Yeah, good, effective listening to each other.
It really is. That's what it is. And that is so much, like we said, so much easier said than done.
Sometimes when our partner says something we don't want to hear, we're going to get upset because we feel like we've failed them or we're not good enough for them or some reason. You know, anytime someone says the thing that's happening to them, their experience of the world, we're going to have a reaction to that depending on, you know, whether we feel close to them or we don't feel close to them.
Bottom line is, it's not about us, it's about them. Don't make it about yourself.
No, just to be able to sit there and listen. Even if you do get triggered, allow them the opportunity to say what they have to say. Allow them the opportunity to process. It is tricky though.
It is.
It's super important because that reality of when you can hold space for someone, when you allow yourself just to sit and really listen, you actually get to know your partner and understand your partner on a much deeper level.
You're actually giving them the gift of being 100% present.
And that is a gift, isn't it? Because you've stepped in there and said, I care about you and how you feel. I want you to have the opportunity to process your emotions and heal your emotions and grow through emotions. And I can help you with that just by sitting and listening to you. And by listening to you, what you've got to say might have something to do with me or might not. You know, it doesn't matter. It's actually about me being able to be present with what you have to say.
Yeah, that's right. And for our more down-to-earth listeners out there, it's like giving them an emotional bucket to throw their emotions up into.
Emotional vomit bucket. Well, it's not like, I think holding space also isn't to sit there and be sitting there blaming the other person and going, it's your fault and you did this. It's not sitting there and hearing that.
No.
It's hearing that person going, this is how
I feel
related to whatever's happened in my world.
And
I'll be okay with their feelings.
I think that's an important point. If you want to be held in a space, is to start off, this is how I feel. Then you're not blaming anybody, so that it opens up the dialogue instead of shutting down that person to hold space. So we had a bit...
That's owning it, isn't it? It's responsibility. I'm responsible for my emotions and how I feel, but I want you to know what that is for me so that we can work better together.
We had a really good conversation about holding space, and you brought up an important point, which was to have the conversation prior to holding space for your partner. Ask them, how would you like me to hold space for you?
Because how we want people to listen to us is very different. as my role as a male mentor, I work in men's circles. I did something called Common Ground Men's Circle Training, which came down from Queensland, and they worked with us. And what they did, they put us in a circle, and then pretty much we just shared all of our stuff over a couple of weekends. And it was really healing because the men there weren't there to try and fix my stuff. They also weren't there to sort of go, everything's all right, you'll be fine. They were there to listen to it and be a witness. And I've never had that really deeply before, have other men hold space for me and really listen to what's going on for me and allow me to process it and allow me to let it go. By just talking about it, I just was able to let go of it. It was really powerful. And the way we run those men's circles is that when a man's speaking, nobody else speaks. Nobody else talks to them. Nobody else tries to tell them what to do. We just listen, and we don't touch them either. We don't nurture them and put our hands on their back. We let them be in their process. We might be, for some men, it's one of the first times they've ever emotionally processed in front of other men. And it's hugely powerful. But the opportunity to hold space, it's like to witness and be witnessed, is really important in building your inner strength, I think. Because you allow yourself to process. And that's one way that you can hold space for someone, is to just sit there. I feel that people who identify as male, a lot of us have this idea that we've got to really stand on our own 2 feet and do this ourselves. We don't have to reach out. But if we can say, hey, look, I just want you to sit and I want you to hear this, because I think I'm going crazy, or I think this stuff is going round and round in my own head. And if I can sit and I can say it to you, and you can just hold it, and you don't get upset by it, there's no shame or blame, you just listen to it, allow for me to talk about it. And that can be hard. That can take a while. It takes practice to do that. Then we actually will trust more to open up and be vulnerable. But, that might not be your way to actually have someone hold space for you.
It doesn't always come that easily to people to just sit and listen and not try and fix. Instinctively, we often want to fix. Personally,
Try and problem solve.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, you're telling me your problem. Here, this is how you fix it. Not, you're telling me your problem. I'll just sit here and allow you to tell me your problem. So
I'll
you don't
allow
have to hold
you
it.
to process it.
Yeah. And I can, by listening to it, I can actually hold it as well for you without taking on the burden or whatever.
If I was to say to you, how would you like your space to be held? If I was to hold space for you, what would that look like for you?
And that's actually a conversation we've had before where I've said to you, I said, look, I've got stuff I want to talk about. Can you just listen to me and just hear me? Let me talk it out without anything. And not to sit next to me, to like sit across from me. It's not like I'd want you to be holding my hand or anything. I just want to say it. Yeah, it's really powerful. How about for you? How do you like to be held space for?
So you don't want any answers. You just want a listening ear.
I want a listening ear. I'm not telling you because I need you to solve it. I'm a big boy. I can solve my own problems. I'm telling you because I want you to hear it so you understand me better, and so sometimes I can just let go of it. How about for you? What works for you?
Very similar. I would say that 100% presence. So you're really listening to me, not make it your own. And sometimes, a hug, acknowledgement, I think, of your pain. But that would be my way that I would like someone to hold space.
Yeah, so if I held space for you, I might even ask you if you'd like me to hold your hand. But then I'll just listen to you. Phones would be gone, just no distractions. You have all my focus.
100% presence.
100% presence. And I hear it and I don't get wigged out by it, whatever it is. I just hear it. That allows you to move on and then to hug you at the end.
Yeah. And it might be stuff that's not easy for the other person to hear. Because it might be in relation to the other person.
And you've told me stuff that I don't want to hear. Like the other day when I kept you waiting for 2.5 hours. And then probably didn't take that on board that you had and just was silly, and then sat down with you and held space. And we held space for each other.
Yeah, you took that very well.
Yeah, so you turned around and told me what you thought, and I went, yep, fair enough, I'll own that.
We were talking about this today. It's very appealing when someone can own responsibility too for actions. There's a humility in that, and there's a beauty in that, I think.
When you hear something you don't like, it can be easy to project your own stuff back, but
because we get defensive. It's instinctive to go want to defend yourself and go, oh, but this and this. But
I didn't mean it. It says, no, it doesn't matter whether you meant it or you didn't mean it. This is how it made me feel. That's the most important. And when we turn around and we try and stop someone from feeling something, or we go, no, it's not like that, or you shouldn't feel like that, or I didn't mean that. We're not fully accepting how they feel. because they feel something in that. And when we allow that person to just feel that and express it and go, yep, I get how you feel, I understand, and to apologise if need be, then we can actually move through that stuff so much faster. Very quickly.
Much quicker than holding on to it, holding a grudge, being resentful and bringing it up at a later date.
Exactly. Bringing it up like 2 weeks ago. Do you remember when you did this thing to me?
Healthy.
It's not healthy. No, it's not healthy in relating at all, because it's actually when you're pissed off with something, that's the time to actually talk about it. But you first have had to have the conversation about the holding space. To actually be able to turn around and not just come and go blur all over your partner, is to go, hey, can we sit down? Something's come up for me and I want to talk about it. And that being able to go, for me, if something comes up and I go, okay, I really want to talk about this, you sit down, you listen to me, I let go of it, I move on. Gone like that.
I can't tell you how effective this is. Like it sounds really simple again, but it's so effective. You did it really well. Like, so I came, the 2.5 hour late example.
We're bringing it up again, are we?
You brought it up first.
No, that's true. Okay.
I wouldn't have said it.
I'm still a little bit embarrassed.
But I came in and I said, I'm pissed off. And you said, okay, let's talk about that. Didn't you? You actually were like, okay, let's talk about it. You held space really well, because you were like, okay. You weren't like, well, why are you pissed off? You shouldn't be pissed off. You could have got defensive.
I could have got defensive, yeah.
But you were like, okay, let's talk about that then.
Because your emotions are actually important to me. Because your emotions is what drives you and moves you. So if I know where you're at, then I can know what I should and shouldn't do.
And I could have...
Don't be 2.5 hours late ever again.
And I could have not said it, I was pissed off, but that's not the way I roll in the world either.
You could have held that in, and you suppressed that, and and then cold shouldered me or whatever, been in a mood all night, and I'd be like, what's going on? What's wrong? Tell me what's happening. Nothing. Are you sure? It seems like something's wrong. I'm fine. And nothing moves, nothing shifts. And we're too scared to have these conversations with each other. We think we'll make it worse. We're actually not having these conversations is what makes it worse.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's so true.
I think for a lot of people, they're too worried to have these conversations because they are scared that there'll be conflict. But if you're able to learn how to effectively hold space for each other, just to be able to listen and let that person express themselves and really hold in whatever's going on inside you, just breathe, be with that, then it would actually build trust. Like if I know I can tell you anything and you're just going to listen to it and you make the relationship the most important, not you being right and me being wrong. The relationship's the most important. That builds trust in me to tell you more, and that brings us closer together. There's vulnerability. I can be vulnerable with you to tell you these things which could create a disagreement or conflict, but it's me being vulnerable with you and you seeing that and going, hey, okay, I see that.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's an important point that you mentioned there. It's not about who's wrong or right. The bottom line is you want the relationship to be stronger and better. And if you have that intention, then it's going to work.
And I think if we're in a space and someone's telling us something and it's upsetting us,
we don't want to upset them.
Well, we don't. And it is us also making it personal. Like whatever's going on for this other person might have nothing to do with us. If we take it personal, we're saying, well, we're the most important person around, so obviously it's got to be about us. It's just like, well, no, my partner is just they have to process. They get to process with you. Awesome.
So quick.
So much better. And they get to process things outside of the relationship and inside of the relationship. Then that brings you together closer. It just creates more love, doesn't it?
It does. Holding space is so important.
And hard, but really important to do it. And there's times and places to do these things.
Yeah, right.
Like I believe that these conversations should never happen late at night. They should never happen after 9 o'clock because people are feeling tired and no good comes from them.
I believe never in the bed. I think never in bed either, personally.
Yeah, the bed's for two things and that's it.
Yeah, it's never for talking about problems.
No, it's never for
talking about... It'll become that, and that's not a nice sanctuary then.
Yeah. So you take it out to the couch or something, face each other, talk about it. You don't do it late at night when people are tired, and you don't do it before meal times when people are hungry. For me personally, if I'm hungry or I'm tired, I'm not as emotionally present as I could be and as I would like to be.
I think I'm worse with the hunger thing than you are.
Oh, yeah, you're more about food than I am. You love it. you definitely
Don't try and talk
you
to me
definitely would
hungry.
not be having
Don't try
an
and do
emotional
anything with me
conversation.
hungry.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm the same tired. If I'm tired, no, I'm going to bed. I sleep and I sleep really well all night. I don't get up. So for me, those nighttime, those conversations was, oh, we need to talk. For me, I'm like, yeah, okay, we can talk, but I would like to talk to you tomorrow after breakfast when I'm fed and when I'm well rested, so I can give you the 100% you deserve.
So pick your time.
Pick your time. And it's like if you've got something on your head and you mull over it all day and you don't say anything, and then you wait till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock that night, the other person probably has no clue. You've been thinking about this about hours and could have built this into something in your head, but the other person is not ready for it. And then all of a sudden it's like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, we need to talk about this thing. Really, do we? I didn't know that. It's not even fair, is it? It's like if you want to have a conversation like that, you've actually got to give someone, say, I want to talk about this and I'd like to talk about it then. And I think even when you're having conversations, sometimes imagine if you're holding space, someone does get really triggered and they're like, oh, okay, I'm actually getting upset by what you're saying. I'm just going to need 10 minutes and go for a walk, have a drink of water, breathe, but you have to come back in. If you've committed to a relationship, you're committed to being with someone, you're committed to hearing where they're at, but you've got to manage your own emotions in regards to what they're saying. So you need to just, if you're too tired, you need to say, I'm really tired and I want to do this. I want you to tell me. Say, I'm really tired and I want you to talk about it. I'm not running away from the conversation either.
You actually did that the other night too. So I
ran away?
No. I wouldn't let you. Let's talk about that because I was like, I'm pissed off. And I told you and you took it and then you went outside for a bit and I knew that I had to let you be for a bit to process it. And then you came back in and you apologised and you took it really well. Like you said, I think it's just sometimes giving people a little bit of space. Don't go chase them down.
No, because if you're chasing them down, I want an answer. I want you to behave.
It's all about you again.
It's all about you again.
Yeah, so sometimes you have to let them process it too.
And in that sense, what you're doing is they've held space for you. Now you're holding space back, but holding the space open for them to go away and get themselves in the right space. I knew once I went outside and I processed it and I came back in and sat down with you, I could have a proper conversation and we were able to work through it. And then it wasn't something that we held on to all night.
It was quick. It didn't wreck our evening. It could have wrecked our evening.
It could have wrecked our evening, yeah. Within probably half an hour to an hour.
Done.
And we moved on and we had a great night.
Yeah. So this is a really good challenge, I think, for the listeners, is that if you have something that is triggering you, is bothering you, is pissing you off, whatever it is, I want you to start the conversation with, I feel like, and get your partner to try and hold space for you. But talk about prior to that, talk about how you would like your space to be held.
And even talk about what it is, the fact that,
what holding space is.
Holding space is. It's you sitting there on the couch, on a chair, wherever, me sitting next to you, me looking at each other. If that person wants, holding their hand, phones are away, distractions away, 100% with each other. We're working on that time together, that really important time together to work on our relationship. In a relationship, there comes so much growth. But when we support each other and we hold space for each other and we allow each other to just process it, I think we move faster. Like it's just like it kicks into another gear.
So good. So important.
Yeah, and I really love, like, for our relationship, it's something which we constantly do. We're constantly having uncomfortable conversations or conversations which might be a bit challenging. But because the relationship, the two of us, is the most important thing, we just step into it.
I think too, because we haven't overreacted too. So if we hold space for each other, previous experience has been maybe overreaction or the person making it about them. We don't do that. So that has opened up the ability to hold space more and more, which means more and more growth.
And it's personal growth as well as couple growth. We've talked about when to do it, where to do it, how to do it, why to do it, because it is actually the thing which will help your relationship grow.
Just do it.
Heal and grow. Just do it. It's so good for you. It is difficult sometimes, but it's practice. Like
anything.
Yeah. If you start doing it, if you start small, then you can actually be able to really learn more about each other and just allow each other to process. I feel like I just went nowhere with that.
It was going really well.
It was going really well. And all of a sudden I went off on some tangent. Like, what am I talking about even?
I was listening.
You were 100%, weren't you? You were 100% listening to everything I said. I was present. Okay. Thanks so much for listening. Please tune in to our next episode. I is for intimacy.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe and follow us.
And check out our website at rekindlingrelationships.com.
Bye for now.
See ya.